So two.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
I want us to begin on page number 8. It is a custom to recite the words of Psalm 22?
27.
27, sorry. Psalm 27 every day during the month of Elul, during the 30 days that lead up to Rosh Hashanah. And it's a beautiful text. It says, one thing I ask to be close to you all the days of my life. And it's a beautiful psalm. I mean, I can recite. I feel that feeling every day, but especially during this time where we have a custom of saying it, but it's not only meant for this time. So we'll try it together. You can follow along. There's Hebrew letters, there's transliteration. Is there transliteration there?
It's in the center of the page.
And you probably know the word for one in Hebrew. Everybody know the word for one? Echad, exactly. And in this case, it's going to be echat. It's conjugated in the feminine, but echat. So it goes like this. Achat sharalti me'et Adonai ota vakesh. Repeat that. Achat sharalti me'et Adonai ota vakesh. Shivti beveit Adonai kol yemei לחזות בנועם אדוני ולבקר בהיכלו לחזות בנועם אדוני ולבקר בהיכלו. I want to point out another word in there. It says lachazot on the third section, lachazot benoam. And the word lachazot is a beautiful word. Also, by the way, the word chazan, which means cantor, comes from the same word in Hebrew, lachazot, which is
to vision?
Yeah, to vision, to have vision. And I think of it as all artists are considered chazanim, people with vision. Actually, you don't have, everybody could have a prophetic ability. But lachazot, to gaze at the beauty. So it goes, lachazot benoam Adonai, ulevaker behichalo. Lachazot benoam Adonai, ulevaker behichalo. Let's try the first section. Achat sharalti me'et Adonai ota vakesh. Achat sharalti me'et Adonai ota vakesh. Shivti beveit Adonai kol yemei
Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom.
and welcome to this Shabbat as we enter the month of Elul, the month that leads up to Rosh Hashanah. You'll notice we have different prayer books tonight. These are more recently published books for just this time of year by the Reform movement, and they offer some beautiful...
What's Elul?
What is Elul? Elul is one of the months in the Hebrew calendar, and it ends on Rosh Hashanah. So it's this time leading up to Rosh Hashanah. So welcome, and it is also traditional to hear Shofar every day in the month of Elul. So it's my pleasure to invite my friend and our congregant, Mordechai Pavlovsky, and his son Dov, who I will happily hold while he blows Shofar. I'm so glad you didn't clap. I want to say it's a thing that sometimes people do, but actually the sound is sacred, and there's a way of letting it in your heart that I want to invite you to do in this season. So thank you. We now light our Shabbat candles, and it is my pleasure to invite up Octavia and her family to light our Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Mazel Tov. Thank you for lighting our candles, and I hope the service goes so well tomorrow morning. I know it will. We are on page 22 with the words of Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad tishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet v'litila lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela ay likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor haberacha נקפלה.
Please be seated, and we go back just one page to page 20 for the words of Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem v'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
You know, I just noticed something interesting, that this book actually changes the words to Shuvchem
Oh, I love that.
for the high holidays. Isn't that
Okay.
interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, usually we say Tzeitchem, the angels come to be with us during Shabbat, and then we sort of preemptively say goodbye to them because we know that the idea is that they're with us during Shabbat and they leave at the end of Shabbat. But here it says Shuvchem, so return
Yeah.
instead of leaving, returning. And holiday is all about returning.
Just thought
Nice.
I'd point that out.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. Please rise for Baruch Hu on page 26.
Ya Eloi, Eloi, ya Eloi, Eloi, ya Eloi, ya Eloi, Eloi, Eloi. Ya Eloi, Eloi, ya Eloi, Eloi, ya Eloi, 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 Eloi. Ya Eloi, Eloi, ya Eloi, ya Eloi, Eloi, ya Eloi, 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 ya Eloi, ya Eloi, ya Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Please join me in the English reading at the bottom of page 29. Holy is twilight, the realm of in-between, and so our sages taught, pray in the moments when light and darkness touch. We are all twilight people, beyond categories and labels. May the sacred in-between of this evening suspend our certainties, soften our judgments, widen our vision. Let it illumine our way to the God who transcends all boundaries and definitions. Blessed are you, God of all, who brings on the twilight. Havat Olam is on page 30.
What a great love, what a great love, what a great love you have given us. What a great love, what a Let's try that together. What a great love, what a great love, what a great love you have given us. What a great love, what a great love, what a great love you have given us. Achavat olam Beit Yisrael, Achavat olam Beit Yisrael, Achavat olam, Achavat olam Beit Yisrael, Achavat olam Beit Yisrael, Achavat olam Beit Yisrael, Achavat olam, Achavat olam Beit Yisrael. What a great love, what a great love, what a great love you have given us. What a great love, what a great love, what a great love you have given us. Achavat olam, Achavat olam, Achavat olam. What a great love you have given us. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated. And rather than chanting Via Hafta, let's read responsively this Via Hafta for Elul on page 35. I'll read one paragraph and you respond. You shall love the ones who are close with all your heart, with all your spirit, with all your strength.
Remember these words, inscribe them on your heart. Love them when they struggle, when they sadden and disappoint you. Love them when they fail.
See the good within them, even when they can't. Look at them and listen, even when it's hard. Be grateful for their guidance, even their reproof, when they save you from yourself.
Love them when they give you joy, and love them when they don't. When you lie down, let go of anger. When you rise up at dawn, begin again.
Praise them for their deeds at home. Speak to them in public with respect.
Bind yourself to the ones you love, with promises kept and vows fulfilled.
Open to them the gates of your heart, the doorway of your soul, and let them know you. So shall the ones you cherish feel your love, your presence, and your care. Mi Chamocha is on page 40.
So it's also custom as we enter this time of Elul, the month leading up to Rosh Hashanah, to begin to bring some of the melodies like we did at the beginning with Achat Sha'alti with Psalm 27. And here's another melody that you'll probably recognize. Yai la 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 la, yai la 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 la, yai.
We turn now to a blessing for healing. And I don't know how we're doing this. I'm in the middle. Okay. All right. We think of all those in our community who are in need of our blessings, the love of those gathered here. Maybe some of you in this room, we think of their caretakers, people worried about them. On our list tonight is Frank Friedman, Rusty Holden, Yechezkel Enoch Ben Tzipora Brina, Roberta Goldman, Iris Friedman, Burton R. Jackson, Claudia Voxman, Reagan Pritzker, Chaim Ben Chaya, Robert Weiseth, John Tolson, Victoria Fuchs, Sophia Brook, Flo Moran, and Rabbi Jack Spiro, and any other names the congregation wishes to add.
El narefanala, el narefanala, el narefanala, refuah shlema. God, please heal them. God, please heal them. God, please heal them. God, please heal them. Refuah shlema.
Vishamru is on page. Oh, this is wrong. That's why. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. We have a little mix-up here. Hashkivenu is on 42. Are we not doing that?
No, we're going to do Vishamru on the next page. Sorry.
Okay. 46. Apologies.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם, ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת, שבת ויהי נפש. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת
we continue with the Amidah on page 48. We rise, and there's this beautiful quote here from Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel. Unless we aspire to the utmost, we shrink to inferiority. Prayer is our attachment to the utmost. The Amidah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elokei avotenu v'imotenu Elokei Avraham Elokei Yitzchak ve'Elokei Yaakov Elokei Sarah Elokei Rivka Elokei Rachel ve'Elokei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vezocher Chastei Avot Ve'imachot Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Lema'an Shemo B'yachava Melech Ozer U'Mosheh U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham V'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia Morid HaTahal Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Ve'Rofeh Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Bagevurot Umidomelach Melech Meimit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh Ukedoshim b'chol yom yalalucha selah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el hakadosh. I want to ask you to turn to page 111. This book has a song I love to sing. It's called Shomer Yisrael. And you might have heard the word Shomer in another context. It means protect or guard. And the meaning of this song, it says, protect Israel, protect what's left of Israel. It's a sad thing to say, but that's what it says. And then it says, Ve'al Yovad Yisrael. And then it says, protect those that still say Shema Yisrael. So you'll hear that in the text. It goes like this. Shomer, Shomer Yisrael. Let's try that. Shomer, Shomer Yisrael. The next line says, Shemor Sherit Yisrael. Shemor Sherit Yisrael. Then it says, Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad Yisrael, Haomerim Shema Yisrael. Ve'al Yovad. Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad Yisrael, Haomerim Shema Yisrael. Shomer, Shomer Yisrael. Shomer, Shomer Yisrael. Shemor Sherit Yisrael. Shemor Sherit Yisrael. Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad, Haomerim Shema Yisrael. Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad, Haomerim Shema Yisrael. Yalalai, yalalai, lai, lai, lai. 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 Yalalai, la, 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 la. Haomerim Shema Yisrael. Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad, Haomerim Shema Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom. I was thinking that it's a nice thing that Parshat Shoftim, which means judges, our portion of the week, falls on Labor Day weekend. In Deuteronomy 16:20, we find a beloved phrase, justice, justice. See, many of you know it. Justice, justice shall you pursue, tzedek, tzedek tirdof, so that you may inherit the land, in which God reminds us that our possession of the land, or perhaps metaphorically our wealth, is conditional. It's not guaranteed. You have to do the right thing. A society can't survive without justice. Labor Day in the United States was created in the late 19th century as a day to honor the American labor movement and the contributions of American workers to our country. So I thought it would be fitting on this Friday of Labor Day weekend to remind us of some of the key teachings from our tradition about labor. We actually have a lot. There's a lot of rules in the Torah, and the rabbis go on later. And so whether you consider yourself part of the working class, or a boss, or none of the above, I think that these ideas are useful for us all to review. So I've got, I think, 5. So buckle up. The first is that we begin, like we so often do, with the Exodus story. Jewish ethical principles are often grounded in this story, And one foundation for Jewish views about labor rights is rooted in that notion that we recite every Passover, B'chol dor vador chayav adam le'rot et etzmo ki'ilu hu hatza miMitzrayim, that in every generation we are required, each of us, to see ourselves as though we individually were in Egypt and left Egypt, that we were ourselves enslaved and knew that experience. Even if you have never done a day of physical labor in your life, you are supposed to strive to know what it's like and to be changed by that striving. It actually is meant to cultivate a kind of empathy in us towards those who have to perform the hardest work of our society. That's part of what it is to be people who understand ourselves as those who came out of Egypt. A second important idea about Jewish labor is the obligation to pay workers promptly. In Leviticus, we find the commandment that the wages of a hired laborer shall not remain with you all night until the morning. And let's pause for a moment on this, because I think it might be easy to brush that aside as like, yeah, you got to pay your workers. You have to make your payroll on time. But it's actually a real problem, I learned after a little research in our state. The nonpartisan and nonprofit news organization Cal Matters reports that California workers lost over $2 billion in 2015 due to not being paid minimum wage, and that workers who are victims of minimum wage theft in California lose an average of $4,250 a year. If you work full-time and are paid minimum wage, that's about 15% of your annual income that you should have. Have any of you ever cut corners with pay? If someone that you employ works overtime, do you pay time and a half, including domestic workers? Are you a worker that has not been treated fairly? Do you know you can seek help for this? It's an important issue. 3, another Jewish ethic about labor is related to safety and is derived from Deuteronomy 22:8. You shall make a parapet, or a fence of some kind, on your roof to protect anyone that might have to work on the roof. The Torah says, so you shall not bring blood guilt upon your house. Usually the verse is understood to be about the liability of property owners when it comes to the safety and injury of workers, but we can also extend this to working conditions generally. An employer, or even one who hires a contractor, the rabbis teach, is obligated to make working conditions safe. I think about this sometimes when I drive over our beautiful Golden Gate Bridge. We know that many workers lost their lives in that construction project due to unsafe working conditions. I also think about the long history of women workers being harassed by male customers and colleagues. Judaism requires that we go beyond the bare minimum, and specifically that we protect and honor the lives of all people, including those who perform dangerous tasks on our behalf. A fourth Jewish labor ethic is the idea of a living wage. Rabbi Jill Jacobs, a leading voice on Judaism and human rights, who actually spoke here, I think, 3 years ago, although who knows, with the pandemic, it might have been 5. She's a leading voice on Judaism and human rights. She authored one of the Tshuvot, one of the responsa texts from the conservative movement on labor rights. And she included a strong argument that the rabbinic tradition requires that workers be paid a living wage, not a minimum wage. She cites a text from the 12th century work of Maimonides, the Mishnah Torah, in which he teaches that the correctors of books, as they were called, in Jerusalem would take their salaries from communal funds. And how much would they take? The text says 90 mana per year, whatever that was. And if this was not enough for them, those responsible for distributing the money would increase it. Even if these communal workers did not want to take more, they would increase the amount according to the needs of their workers, their wives, and their families. This demonstrates a long-established understanding in Judaism that employers ought not to rely simply on market forces, especially for low-paid workers, but rather have an obligation to be sure that the workers' wages provide enough to live on. And fifth, Finally, a source of Jewish ethics is the history of Jewish labor activism in Eastern Europe, the United States, in Israel with the kibbutz movement. A quick glance at the history of labor activism in the United States reveals many Jews were involved as labor organizers and also tragically as victims of poor labor practices. Perhaps the most infamous story is the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. Do many of you know about that? This horrible fire occurred in 1911 in New York in a factory with sweatshop conditions that employed mostly Jewish and Italian young women and girls. 146 of them lost their lives in that fire, most of them between the ages of 14 and 23. One of the reasons that was so tragic is that the factory owners, also two Jewish men who didn't hear this sermon, locked their exits during working hours, presumably to increase worker productivity. The grief turned into action, and a number of important labor laws were passed as a result of this fire, many of them advocated for by the Jewish community. Jews continue to be overrepresented in American labor organizing today. So on this Labor Day, let's be aware of our special Jewish relationship to labor rights, to labor law, and be mindful of our obligation to this particular area of social justice. Shabbat Shalom. We will rise for the Aleinu on page 78.
I was telling the rabbi that my father of blessed memory was a labor organizer during that time. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר לחיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. This book has one of my favorite poems by Mary Oliver on page 83, so I'm going to read that before we move into Mourner's Kaddish. It's titled In Blackwater Woods. Look, the trees are turning their own bodies into pillars of light, are giving off the rich fragrance of cinnamon and fulfillment. The long tappers of cattails are bursting and floating away over the blue shoulders of the ponds, and every pond, no matter what its name is nameless now. Every year, everything I have ever learned in my lifetime leads back to this. The fires in the black river of loss, whose other side is salvation, whose meaning none of us will ever know. To live in this world, you must be able to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it, and when the time comes, to let it go, to let it go. On this Shabbat, we remember those who have to be laid to rest, Charles Urke, Paul Bissinger, and Herman Bustamante. And we are in the period of Shloshim for Oren Ergas, Ronald Rabb, Mayer Heller, Shalom Bunik, Scott Nabenzal, Richard Martin, Stephen Yokin, Margaret Madigan, Kathy Weiss, Florence Annette Perkel Hoffman, Sheila Adelberg, Micah David Beisel. And we observe the yahrzeits this Shabbat of Cindy Agress Bauman, Isidoro Berkowitz, Bernice Bleeden, John Haskell Bressler, GQ Dwan, Anna Bayard Ernst, Edith Ferza, Michael Friedman, Fanny Fried, Ronald Friedkin, Sophie W. Fine, Florence Ruth Friedman, Leah Fromm, Sherwood Gerard, Zelda de Angelerta Glazer, Richie Gluck, Diane Gold, Sarah Madfis Gross, Irving Halprin, Gerald Havner, Maurice Maury Heller, Ralph Hezekiel, Rose Holtz, Holly Howard, Barry Hyams, Jeanette Jacobs, Rachel Esther Joseph, Bertha Joshel, Solomon Joshel, Simon Cadis, Sydney Kalish, Emma N. Kraus, Barbara Levin, Marlene Swartz Levinson, Helen Lewin, Alan S. Mermont, Joyce Martinez, Eleanor Mazzy Cohn, Diane Melnick, Margaret Moloshok, Irving Ma, Doris DeHovitz Page, Irving Petlin, Jack Pollock, John Reed, Ronald Rubin, Nathan Edgar Robinson, Roland S. Ross, Harry Hillel Scheinbaum, Edward R. Siegel, Mary Cohn Siegel, Roberta Seid, Jenny Shenson, Joan Shipley, Jack Schwartz, Burton Sperber, Gerald Siegel, David L. Spiegelman, G. Bert Stoff, Joseph Tonkin, Richard Tull, Dorothy F. Weiner, Susan Winograd, Barrick Winter, Miriam Lewis Zarefsky. We add to those names any others the congregation wishes to share tonight. If you are at home, feel free to enter the name into the chat. The words of Mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 86. Please rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehesh shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam ulmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudesha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehesh shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen.
Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. return to where you were, born and reborn again. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Tshuva, 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 tshuva.
All right. Are you ready to lead Kiddush? Octavia, would you grab that big, beautiful cup and come on up here? Come on over here. Do you have the page already? Yeah. Okay, great. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Good.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzva banu. Ki Shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinhilanu. Zikaron le'maaseh v'reshit, ki hu yom tehila le'mikra'im me'odesh, zechir l'Yisrael Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'arta v'otanu kidasha mikol ha'amim. Shabbat kodsheha be'ava uvratzon hinotanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat l'chaim.
Mazel tov to you and your family, and I hope you have such a wonderful, fun weekend. Before we do motzi, just a couple of announcements. We've really made it quite clear tonight that high holidays are coming, and we would love for everyone to join us. You have to renew your membership to join us, so here's an official reminder. Renew your membership. If you're not a member, become a member. It's very easy. If you're saying to yourself, I don't know that I could afford to become a member, we will let you pay whatever you can afford. We just want you to join us. We really, really do. That's what matters. Count yourself in, be a part of our community, tell your friends. We would love to have you. Right, Cantor Addie?
Yes.
Yes, we really would. Slichot is the next big thing coming, right? Mm-hmm. Saturday night program. It's the Saturday night before Rosh Hashanah. And look for details on our website, but we have a really incredible theater group coming of Ukrainian actors who are performing some powerful pieces related to the situation there. So please check that out. It'll be an hour-long performance here, followed by a traditional slichot service. So we hope you'll join us. We'll say, Mo, would you mind holding the challah up? Since it's your bat mitzvah. I know, I've given you an unexpected task. You can take the cover off, hold up the plate. On your way out, please remember to bring your prayer books, and let's join together for motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lachem min haaretz b'tei avon. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Ya da 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 da.